Hello, my friend, and welcome to my channel. I hope you're doing as well as possible. For this session, we are going to be doing a distance energy work session for healing past relationships. So often we carry the energy of past relationships into our present. If we're lucky, we are able to assess the past relationship and then draw on things that worked and reevaluate things that maybe didn't work so that we can move forward in a way that feels more in alignment with what we want our future selves and our future lives to look like. But sometimes we carry some of the past mistakes into our future relationships. And I think what this can indicate is just that this needs some attention. These things just need a little bit of tending to. So that's hopefully what I'm going to help support you through today while you engage in this deep self-understanding and this deeper knowledge of yourself and how you function and move through the world and move through your various complex relationships of all kinds, not just romantic, but including romantic. So this is going to be in support of you moving through that development, that growth, that process. And hopefully you feel supported and cared for and nurtured and held with compassion by me and fortunately by each other in this beautiful collective that we've created here. If you're new here, welcome. Thanks for clicking on this video. My name's Anna. I'm a Reiki master practitioner. I obviously love ASMR as well, and I think, like many creators, that the two pair really well together. I'm going to use this. This is the Earth Home Co. Smudge spray, but I've replaced this with a little blend of my own. It's frankincense, lavender, tea tree, and cedarwood, which is, for some reason, that combination is my favorite. I did 2 drops of lavender, spraying to your right, 5 drops of frankincense, spraying to your left. I did 3 drops of tea tree and 3 drops of cedarwood. Y'all, it smells so good. I like rose and floral scents as well. But I think this combination of more earthy and like the menthol combined with the grounded energy of the cedarwood. I like the calming aspects of the lavender. It's just really nice. Okay, so just starting off by filling up your aura with this nice medley of essential oils, using this aromatherapy to help create a foundation for this session that's grounded, calm, and has like a little bit of that invigorated energy of the tea tree. So few tools that I'd like to use to do some general clearing. And then I have about 5 stones that I'd like to work with. Some to pull and clear. And then others to kind of fill your energy with. So, I know a few of you have recently gone through either divorce or relationship breakups, and I'm sending you so much love, and I know how hard that can be, and just know that I'm holding a lot of space for you, and that I can understand if maybe something like this is hard for you to take on. Maybe you need a little bit more time to take care of yourself and kind of lick your wounds before engaging in this. So I totally get that. But if you're moving through it, and if the pain has sort of had the time to maybe lessen a little bit, then hopefully this is helpful and supportive. All right, we're gonna go ahead and light our candle. I have a vlog. I should by this point have a vlog up on my other channel. I have a channel called Plant-Based Living with Anna, and I should have a vlog up there about it's either a garden tour or it's me making gourmet tomato soup from scratch. Well, not from scratch. I use like canned tomatoes when I'm making it, but it's from like kind of ingredients that are pretty accessible. And it's so good. Oh my gosh. But anyway, if you are interested in that kind of thing, more like lifestyle and cooking and sort of seeing a little bit more of my life, I'll leave the link to that channel down below. I love the sound. Do you like that? Or is it too? It sounds so nice to me. I wonder if it sounds good to you. Okay. Bum, ba, bum, ba, bum. Let's see if I can get on the first go. On behalf of your highest, wisest, most empowered and aligned self, in loving comfort and perfect balance, I wish to conduct this distance energy session for healing past relationships. And I really want to give you the opportunity here to set your own intention based on the relationship that you want to heal. So if you're open to it, just gaze into the flame and set an intention. Maybe even just say the person's name or your relationship with this person in your mind. Just call their name and hold a little bit of space here just to invite that person. Maybe even place your hands on your heart. Just call that person into your consciousness and hold some space for them here. So, you can receive this session for multiple people, but because our relationships are so specific with each individual, I would maybe suggest revisiting this session for different people in your life that you would like to but give some attention to, tend to a bit. So maybe today, while you're receiving this session, you're dedicating this to your relationship with your mother. And maybe when you receive this session again next week, you can dedicate it to healing your relationship with your high school sweetheart. That it's hopefully should be general enough to be able to heal the relationship without the specific nature of that individual and that connection. I'm going to light a little bit of incense. We are going to draw the sacred symbols, then use the smoke to do a bit of clearing. I think I'm going to use I think I'll use this lavender actually. So just lighting this incense off of our candle. And I like to do this in order to preserve the intention that we've set. So kind of using that same flame to preserve the intention so that drawing the symbols is connected with that intention from an elemental perspective, and also to preserve that intention and then using the smoke to clear anything that's not in service of that intention that we've set. So I'm going to draw these symbols outside of your heart center as always. Now using the smoke to clear and cleanse. Clear and cleanse what's not in service of the intention that we've set. Clear and cleanse what's not in support of healing your past relationships. Healing any broken relationships. It's been a request from you. How do I heal broken relationships? Can you do a session for healing broken relationships? So this is in support of that. And if there's anything in your energy that's not in support of that, we're just offering it up, inviting it to be cleared. So if it's available to be cleared, if we can offer anything up to be cleared, then we want to take that approach first. Is there anything energetically that we're holding on to that actually would just require an invitation in order to leave? And maybe there's nothing, but I always like to start by just inviting it to be cleared here. Sometimes just bringing our awareness, just bringing our attention to something can help us understand that it's available to be cleared. Physical tension is a good example of that. Sometimes someone just saying, "Oh, release your shoulders," and you recognize that you had been holding them. With our emotions and our energy, sometimes it can be more challenging because it's a much more subtle kind of release. But sometimes it's as simple as just inviting it to release, offering it up to be released. But sometimes we're not ready to let go. And that's part of the process, and Reiki can help. This beautiful, universal life force energy, this energy of above and below, a balance of the spiritual and the earthly plane, can be a wonderful way of embarking upon this journey and finding your own process. I'm so fortunate that I found this energy work. It's been a joy in my life and such a healing discovery for me. Okay, love. So I'm now going to start by using a few different crystals and stones. Just moving our candle aside. So I'm going to start by using two stones that I feel are really important, that I personally love to use when doing any of this kind of ancient healing. So we're going to start with these. This is Amazonite. I love using this stone for healing any kind of ancient traumas, old wounds, and really tapping into the flow of the elements of water for this kind of healing. And I think Amazonite can be beautiful for helping to balance the throat as well as the third eye chakras. You can also use it for the heart space to help heal in the heart space, and that's primarily what we're going to be using it for today. Connecting here with truth, with our honest experience of our relationships, with our honest experience of emotions, and really healing in the heart space. And this is a kunzite lepidolite, and I'm really going to be using this for the kunzite, which is a great stone for healing relationships, healing past relationships. Great stone of self-love as well. It's a wonderful stone for healing past relationships. These both have a similar quality. They are both raw, similar feel, relatively similar size. So I'm gonna move through and primarily be focusing here in your upper chakras, moving into your heart space as well. Okay. So just sending this energy through time and space to where and whenever you happen to be receiving this session. So I want to create a foundation of self-love and healing, of healing past traumas, and supporting you before we embark on any kind of severing of ties or clearing, deeper clearing when it comes to these relationships. So this journey of healing our past in order to move with more alignment into our future relationships, even into our relationship with that same individual from a healed perspective, from a new perspective. Because sometimes healing past relationships doesn't necessarily mean ending a relationship and it's done. Sometimes it's the arguably more subtle and complex process of moving through the exact same relationship in a new way. So a really important aspect here is connecting with what your experience is. How are you experiencing this situation? Very often when we're talking about healing past wounds, some of our very natural human reaction to this is to say, okay, that didn't work. I'm not doing that again. And then we kind of leave it at that. There's no real excavation of deeper emotions. There's no, sort of deeper research into our soul, into our emotions, into what's going on. We don't kind of plunge down into the depths of what might have been the root cause of why we did this or that or whatever. And I think sometimes when we take the lesson before we go through the process of learning it, just take the lesson and move on. Sometimes what can happen is we start to inadvertently disassociate from our own experience, from our own emotions. Sometimes this can look like, okay, rather than looking at a situation and saying, this really hurt me. This did not feel good, this situation. What this person said and did really hurt me. And then I did things that I wish I hadn't done. And then we often jump to, okay, so I won't do that again, and that'll fix it, and I'll move into the next relationship, and I just won't react. And next time, all of my emotions, I will just kind of ignore, detach, or take those on as my responsibility to heal all on my own. And I think it's helpful to sort of subtly shift when we start to get into that mindset. Because we very often think to ourselves that having these emotions and other people having an impact on us means that we are in some way weak, that we need to just sort of grow some ovaries and get over it. But I think that we're really missing an opportunity for a deeper healing when we do that. And I think very often the same issues are going to continue to surface. So rather than saying this person impacted me and, that's me, I'm too sensitive, I took that personally, or, I need to work on my own response to things. When we talk about taking responsibility for our energy, it is about saying, I have agency over how I respond. It's also about saying, there's a lot that I can do to have a better and more aligned energy and energetic state. But it doesn't mean that you don't hold other people accountable. It doesn't mean that you start to shift the truth with yourself about how other people impact you. Rather, looking at it holistically, both in terms of energy and how these things impact your chakras, and also looking at it holistically in terms of the things that you can do and also the things that other people can do. So, when we talk about this, the program, the 12-step program, the Serenity Prayer is helpful in this circumstance, because this idea that you want to be able to change the things that you recognize you don't want in your life, change the things that you don't want in your life, then having the ability to accept the things that you can't change, accept that someone might be treating you poorly and they might always treat you poorly. Changing the fact that you don't necessarily have to be around that person. You can start to set boundaries around that relationship, and then the wisdom to know the difference between the two. So it's important to recognize that if people have an impact on you, that is human. It's not weakness, it's not anything. If you can sit with that emotion, that means that you have great strength and bravery, great courage to be able to sit with that emotion. Detaching from or ignoring our emotions, especially if we're doing it in order to prevent ourselves from suffering, it will always cause more suffering. The people in my life that I've known and that I've worked with and that have tried to disassociate from pain in order to not experience it are the people who go straight back to pain every time, like a magnet. And those people who embrace vulnerability, those people who are, I'm thinking about my mom, she was so this way, just so open, so in touch and in tune. Everyone who met her would say that she was the most emotionally intelligent person, just so in touch with her emotions, with other people's emotions. And she was, even though she had a really hard life, she was the happiest person I've ever met. This is a person who was very in touch with her emotions, very in touch with the emotions of others. This is a person who had so much just adversity in her life, and she woke up hopeful and happy every day. And people who met her would call her sunshine. She was just such a sunny, vibrant person. So in my experience and many people's experience, when you try to disassociate from your emotions, disassociate from your pain, it's going to find its way right back. These things very often need to be processed and held given time and space for, tended to. Just receive this beautiful energy here to heal you, to heal these relationships. I could, as you can probably tell, go on about this for a really long time, but I think there's some misinterpretation of a lot of Eastern philosophies where we start to we had to take this idea of detachment, and we take it to detachment from other people, from our emotions and all these things. I think at the core, this idea of detachment is about detachment from wanting. I think what that is really about is detaching from an expectation or a result. And it's really about, rather than focusing on the detachment of it, it's about focusing on acceptance. Accepting yourself where you are, accepting another person where they are, accepting the things that you can change, accepting the things that you cannot change. I think it's unfortunately an area where even in the healing community, there's a lot of I think there are some gaps. But I think processing your emotions is not only the healthiest, but also the most efficient way of moving through them. Which feels very counterintuitive, I know, but if you go directly into the storm, if you head straight into it, you're going to get out quicker than if you try to hide and let it pass. And it's a complicated process, and this is here to help support you as you move through it. And if you find something that works better for you, that's what you should do. This is about your journey and your process and helping you heal yourself. Okay, so I'm going to place these two stones on your heart center, just side by side on your heart center here, okay? Gorgeous. So they are going to be there as our foundation for this session, really supporting you, really holding you. Okay. Now I'm going to move through with two more stones. So I'm going to move through with this Kumbhaba jasper. These are both polished stones. So a very gentle energy emanating from these stones. Rose quartz and Kumbhaba jasper. So I love using Kumbhaba for support during times of transformation. So as we heal our past relationships, it really is a step towards transforming into our new selves, our higher selves. Moving through these past, maybe traumatic relationships, but broken relationships, something that feels where the door is still open, or we're still seeking closure. This can really help us to move forward as our wisest selves. And rose quartz, just to invite in this universal love. I love using this for universal love, self-love, connecting with others in the heart space. So I'm going to move through with these two stones now, okay? I just want to kind of reiterate, being in touch with our emotions does not make us weak. It means that we have the courage to sit with things that are painful, that we have the courage to heal, the courage to be honest. And this process is a personal one. This isn't about complaining about how everybody is mean to you, or that the world has it out for you, or that you're a victim of your circumstances. When you start to go into that, then we really need to revisit that you need to take responsibility for your life and your energy and your choices. And recognizing that really hard things happen in the world, and I know that you can move through it. I know that you can courageously take the reins of your life and make change where change needs to be made, and that you can heal the aspects of yourself that might have played a role in some way. It's not always the case, but sometimes it is. But it is about taking responsibility for our energy is vitally important in any healing modality that we're moving through. I think sharing your pain is one thing. I am in pain and this hurt, and but there's this difference between that and victimhood and kind of relishing in the strong warrior, like the wounded warrior, strong warrior kind of stereotype, where you sort of feel like I do so much and nobody is paying, This could be the case, but there's always more options than you think. Always. And it's really important when we are sharing our experience to recognize the difference between victimhood or like victimization, I guess, and sharing our struggles. And you all know this. We have these conversations in the comment section all the time about, I'm really struggling with this thing, or I'm moving through this and it's really hard, as opposed to I can't heal myself because all of these things happened in my life. You know what I mean? There's just a difference. One of those is taking responsibility and saying, there are really hard things that happen, and I'm working through it, and I'm taking responsibility for my energy, and I'm moving through this. And then from another perspective, there's the energy that says, oh, I can't do anything because of the way that my life is, or the way that, like, the cards that I've been dealt. So it's a shift. It's a shift in perspective. And this is probably pretty redundant talking to you, because this, you don't say these kinds of things in the comments section. You are taking responsibility for your life and your energy, and still able to share, wow, this is hard. This is so hard, which is really important too, to recognize, like, oh my God, it's so hard. This is really hard. Because I know so many of you are struggling with things that are just so hard, and they break my heart when I read about them and when you share them. And I just hold space for you and send love to you. Very often I'll light a candle for you, try and send energy your way. Outside of our sessions here, obviously, I always light a candle for you. But, so it's not, I hope you know what I mean, the difference between kind of relishing in and luxuriating in an archetype, the wounded warrior, victim archetype, between that and genuinely recognizing my the cards I've been dealt are really, really shit. This is really a tough situation. And, expressing and communicating that while also being able to kind of lift and see that there are so many others who are going through so much as well. And that as we ascend and as we align and as we try to walk a spiritual path in whatever way, it is about continuing to trying to heal, trying to be better, trying to take another step. So, beautiful. I'm going to place these on either side of your hips here. So placing those stones outside of your root chakra to provide this grounded energy, grounded in love, grounded in support of your transformation. So we have a nice little mini grid set up here on your body, on your physical body, that's really supporting all of this beautiful healing growth here. So I'm going to take my spray and just kind of seal all this in. And then we're going to take a few other stones to do a bit of deeper clearing. Spraying outside of your heart center. Right hip, left hip. Above your head. Oh, y'all, it smells so good. Oh, I love that so much. Do you like more earthy kind of essential oils, or are you more of a fan of more floral, or do you like something with a really zingy pop of menthol like eucalyptus, or maybe something a bit richer like sandalwood, or maybe do you like something zesty like a lemongrass or a citrus, orange, sweet orange maybe even? For this kind of spiritual work, I usually this little combo is probably my favorite. So I'll give you a little extra boost today. Okay. So now I'm going to take these two stones, much deeper kind of cleansing stones. Indigo Gabbro, this is an Indigo Gabbro wand. So we're going to be using this to do some deep pulling and plucking. And then I have this fossil, great for kind of cutting ancient wounds, ancient ties. I use this as my athame for cord cuttings. We're not going to be doing any cord cuttings in this session, but I am going to use this just to kind of energetically kind of cut through any of these bonds that are tethering you that you need to kind of sever. It's going to be a deeper clearing, but not as deep as something like a cord cutting or an energetic surgery, psychic surgery kind of thing, which are all should be done in a personal setting. You could do it in a distance capacity, but with a Reiki master. I like doing those more one-on-one. Okay, so moving through. Pulling and then using this through. Moving it through the flame. You can move it through like the flame like so. Pulling out, cutting it through, moving it through the flame. Moving through. Moving through. Severing that. Move it through here. Through this flame here. Moving through. Moving through and severing that. Moving through and severing that. Moving through and severing that. Gorgeous. If there's anything that you would like to offer up now to be cleared, feel free to do so now. And we'll sever that. Okay, lovely. I'm going to seal all of this gorgeous work in with this owl rat on. The owl is a great symbol for, as I record this, it's still Mercury retrograde and I'm a little tongue-tied, as you can tell. But the owl is a great source of wisdom. It's a great totem of ancestral connection. So it's a wonderful one when we're doing healing of this kind of deeper healing where we have to really honestly and boldly evaluate the way that we are conducting ourselves and moving through the world, through our relationships, and really starting to connect with our emotional response to things and starting to have love for that. I'm placing my hand on my sacral. So place my hand on your sacral here. Sending this deep love for our emotional response to things. Say, this is information that I can use. The more I disassociate from it, I believe, less capacity I have for joy. I think the more you disassociate and disconnect from your own emotions, your own experience, your own life force energy, your experience of this world, the more we disassociate from that, the more we disassociate from our ability to experience joy. So if we can, through this process, learn to love that. Learn to love ourselves in all of that messy, complicated, inconvenient truth of our emotions. And learn how to try to give ourselves grace and kindness and care. I think this is the journey towards love and joy and happiness. And I want that for all of you. And for me. Okay, love. Here we go. I'm going to start your crown. We're going to move down. divine. You are connected. You are expressive. You are loved. You are strong. You are emotionally balanced. You are safe. You are safe, my friends. You are safe. You are protected, supported, and held. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day or night. And until we meet again, be so well. These are the ritual healing boxes. I just wanted to show you inside. This is actually the self-love box. Each of them come with 2 crystal-embedded tea candles and 3 gemstones. So this one has a rose quartz, a green aventurine, and a unakite. Love that for self-love. They come with the same large incense cones. This one is a gardenia. And with this rose and vitamin E anointing oil. So it's rose with a vitamin E carrier oil, and that's just to kind of anoint yourself. You can do it on pressure points. I like to do it on my temples or behind my ears. And then you can have them in this box. Just kind of keep them here with your crystal collection. So the link is in the bio if you're interested. Thank you to everyone who's purchased one, and I hope you feel the love that I put in. Okay. Can you come up on the pillow? She just wants cuddles. Good mama. For today's video, I just wanted to do a little chakra activation. And just doing a little bit of balancing and aligning. But this is a new kind of video for me. I usually, speak directly to the collective instead of the individual. So that always happens when I'm trying to do it like up here. Perspective. Maybe your perspective on things is a little clouded at the moment. I'm not sure if that resonates with you, but that's what I'm getting here. But just sort of being aware of what is coming in so that we can be more prepared to make that decision. I love metallic sounds. There's like clicky clacky sounds. But it does have kind of a funny smell. I'm not gonna lie, when I first used it, I was like, oh, what is that? But amethyst is a really great spiritually aligned stone. It can help with clarity, mental fog, really helps us see soberly. Invite some more mindfulness and some of this energy work that we've been engaging in.